Sometimes people say, how do you represent guilty people? How do you do this? What if a client tells you you're guilty? Do you ask your client if he's guilty or not? And I've made videos in the past actually talking about drug dealers and most criminals being broke, because that's exactly what they are. Sometimes people say, how do you represent guilty people? How do you do this? They don't have much money. All they live for is a bit of a lifestyle. Cullen, Mace, are you guilty? They're not going to ask you that.
The Central Club.
What's going on, people? Welcome to the Central Club. This episode is brought to you by Re-Inspire Printing and Boss Security. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the club, and hit the bell button to be notified of future content. Today's guest is a criminal lawyer and is someone I've been a big fan of for a very, very long time. I'm really excited to get into this one, guys. So I warmly welcome Mr. Akhmed Yakoob.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Honestly, it's I've been a big fan. Not gonna lie, bro.
Thank you.
I think it's probably because of being in that life, in my past life, that attracts me to that. You know, it's good to see the cases you dive into, the cases you win, and also to, you know, I enjoy you educating me, because there was many times I was in that life, and you know, I'd question my solicitor on things like, what is this? And I didn't really know. And instead of me diving into, you know, a book and looking into it, to have it on Instagram Reels and just listen to the cases short is great.
See, what you've just said is exactly why the reason why I started doing it. I started making reels, I started making content. A lot of people, they don't know the basics of law. One thing is, I want people to be 100% about. I never encourage disrespecting the police or the judicial system or the legal system. I never encourage that. A lot of people think I do encourage that, but I don't. I'm for the police, because at the end of the day, if my house is burgled, if there's a robbery, for example, if my wife gets robbed on the street, who's she going to phone? By the time I get there, it's already going to be, whatever happens, the police will get involved somehow. A lot of people think that I incite disrespect towards the police or the judicial system. I never do that. I actually respect the police for the job they do, for the job they are doing. At the end of the day, a police officer is going to go home to his family, he may have kids, he's providing a good living, a honest living for his family. So we can't be disrespectful. In the same way, shouldn't be disrespectful towards any human being. I've seen people get stopped by the police and they just go off on one. The police officer may just want to ask them for their insurance details, which they are entitled to. But I've seen people just go off on a mad one.
Yeah.
When I don't know why people do that.
I think that's the culture we're in at the moment, you know, and it's obviously evolved and grown into a bigger monster with the George Floyd case and things like that. But yeah, you're right. You know, sometimes it should just be a routine check if there's something they're worried about or something they want to ask. And I've seen it as well. People just kick off. Why are you stopping me? What have I done? And you probably haven't done anything, but you're making me get suspicious that you have done something now by you kicking off.
Exactly. On the other hand, if you're cooperative, it probably is going to ask you a few questions and just you go on your way after that. But people don't get that. But you must ensure that you are dealing with a real police officer, because there are cases in the past that people have impersonated police officers. So I do encourage getting the officer's details. Officer, is it okay if I can get your shoulder number, your name, what station you're based at? They'll give you all of that anyway. It'll be on their, there'll be a tag with their name on there anyway, or they'll have a lanyard on or something like that. But you must make sure that you are dealing with a real police officer. That is an issue. And I've seen it happen.
Yeah, I bet being a criminal defense lawyer, you heard all sorts of stories, but you hear it, don't you? Pretending to be police and wiping out a cannabis factory,
I've
seizing
seen
it.
everything.
Yeah,
I've seen everything you can imagine. I've seen that. Yeah,
Yeah.
cannabis factory.
Well,
Seen just random stops. So people have been stopped by police, and their money's been taken, but they've realized that wasn't the
it
police.
wasn't a Fed.
And at the same time, I've seen that it was a Fed,
And they still, yeah.
and he still did that, but it hid it from the police force.
Yeah.
So I've seen everything.
Yeah, there was one in the paper about a year ago, I think, and it was like, I don't know what they would call the building where they kind of seize everything. And there was
Evidence
like
room.
lots, and evidence, but there was like lots of drugs gone missing. And they
Yeah.
tried to say it was like the mouse ate them or something.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's like, what the as if. Like,
Maz
do you know
must
what
have
I
been
mean?
high on cocaine
Yeah, of course.
or cannabis. Must have been
Off his rocker.
off his rocker, gone on a mental one.
But you're right, though. You are right, though. There's good and bad in everything.
Everything.
But we can't be labeling, the same way as anything, whether it's religion, whether it's if you're addiction, whatever it is, we always put people in the same kind of category. And I think the police are a force for good with a few bad eggs in it.
Of course, there's bad in everything and there's good in everything. Try to see the good in people is what I say. It doesn't mean you trust them wholeheartedly with everything, but try to see the good in it. And you can't paint everyone with the same brush. I've seen that happen quite a lot. I was talking to someone yesterday. He was a former police officer. I had an interview with him. And he says that TikTok and Mizzy is saying people are being racist towards him, but they're not. So people are using that to basically just say, if I've got a problem with you or you've got a problem with me, you've got a problem with my personality, you haven't got a problem with my color, and vice versa. So a lot of people jump on the bandwagon and just paint everyone with the same brush.
I say it as well with the class. People always think like the elites, they're racist. Well, no, I'm pretty sure if you're black and you got a lot of money, you'll be rubbing shoulders. It's class. We look in the ghettos. There's white people in the ghettos.
Exactly, yeah.
There's all mixtures in the ghetto, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's mixtures in the elite too as well. Like
Of course.
but people get this perception of
That everyone's the same.
yes,
But it's just not. That's not the case. And you can't judge people by the opinions of other people.
no.
You have to make your
Your
own
own-
judgment.
Your own.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like a bad trait to have then, to see the bad in everyone?
Yeah. It's
Because you get that, don't you? Don't trust anyone. DTA is in culture, isn't it?
see, I'm that way inclined because I'll be honest with you, I've been through a lot of stuff in the past with people who I've helped. They say a favor can take you to the grave quicker than a bullet. So I'm very bad now with trusting people, but I still associate with people and I still do get along with people, but make sure, there's boundaries, there's limits. I tend to be around people that I know all the time, that people I've been around for years, as in who have come in today. Both of those fellas have been with me since we were young. So I know I can trust them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't measure loyalty with the period of time that you've known somebody.
Oh, 100%.
You can't. Somebody could know you for 20 years and they can have bad intentions for you. And you can meet someone who you know for 6 months and they'll have better intentions for you than that
I
person
agree.
that you know for 20 years.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I done a podcast with Rob Moore. He's like this business entrepreneur, and he was talking. I'm kind of putting it in a different perspective here, but investable qualities. You might have someone who's a millionaire and he's done a million business propositions, yeah? But you might get someone who ain't got the money, but he's trustworthy, you like him, and you think he might do this. You're going to go with the guy you haven't got no experience, you don't really know him, but you know he's trustworthy and he's got these investable qualities, rather than the guy who's done a million business deals but has fucked everyone over.
Yes, exactly. You can't put a price on loyalty. If you find a loyal person in this day and age, look after that person because they are a rarity. It's a rare breed. Loyal people are a
Yeah,
rare breed.
trust me,
Unfortunately, it's the truth, man.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in.
But I think the thing to go back to it, the thing we're talking about is not even about being loyal to people. It's about just seeing good in people. We keep our circle small, 100%, and maybe we should. But as a broad spectrum of looking on the outside at other people, we shouldn't be just thinking automatically that he is this and
Is
he is
that, yeah,
that and they're this.
yeah, of course, see the good in people and never look down on anyone as well.
Yeah.
Never look down, never think you're better than anybody. That's my mindset. That's how I think, like, and I encourage that sort of mind frame because that's the way we should be. That's the way I've been brought up. All humans are equal, regardless of what you do. You can't measure somebody's intelligence with academic qualifications, and you can't treat someone better if they've got a better job. So I've been brought up like that. That's been instilled inside me since I was a child. I instilled that inside my children too. So I think it's a winning formula.
Well, yeah, of course, you're making the world a better place.
Yeah, I think it's a
definitely.
winning formula. Yeah.
So, like I said, I watch your stuff for many of reasons. Do you think, for the people who don't know,
Mhm.
you've got a quite a healthy platform. Like, you've got a lot of people who watch your stuff. It's brilliant. And guys, please, if you haven't come across Ahmed's work, please go and check it out. Do you think most of the demographic of the people you watch are similar people, or like, do you have any idea of the type of people who follow you? Or
See, it's different people. I think some people follow me for the motivational stuff I talk about. Some people are potential clients. They probably thinking, yes, we need this guy on our side. We need this guy on our side. Some people just like the way I am. So
educational?
educational as well. Some people just want to learn.
Yeah.
So
It was a really good when you spoke about the other day, which I really think is quite a grey area: the self-defense and the assault or the
yeah,
attack.
yeah.
If someone comes to you, if you're in your house or wherever, there is that grey area.
It's a grey area.
in Britain, and things like that is great to cover, because there's not
Exactly.
many people out
And
there.
a
doing
lot
that.
of people don't know this as well, that if somebody comes up to your face, you can hit them first in self-defense. A lot of people have a misconception that
you got to hit me first.
you got to hit me first. But imagine somebody hits you, knocks you out cold. You won't be able to
So what
self-defend.
would that be? The premeditation of being intimidated by someone.
Yeah. So if somebody's in your personal space and you feel that this person is going to attack you, you can hit them first, and it's still self-defense.
That's mad. Crazy. See, you learn something new every day. Life hasn't always been this way for you, though, is it? You haven't always been a criminal lawyer. I think it's really interesting to find out how you got to that place. But who was you before you was a criminal lawyer?
I've always been the same person. My characteristics have been the same since I was a kid. I like to get along with people. I'm a people's person, so I can sit in a crowd and talk for hours. I can get along with everybody. That's been me from day one. And of course, I've never always worked as a criminal lawyer. My first job was delivering milk. My dad was a milkman, so I used to go with him and deliver milk to people's houses when I was young. And then I worked in a hair shop, a beauty shop. That's why I look so good now. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
of course.
So then after that,
You are always well groomed. I got to be fair.
I got into I try. I make a bit of effort with
So
that.
you got to do, yeah.
Have to. Then I got into law. I studied law at Wolverhampton University, and it was just for crack-ups first. Just do a degree. My mum and dad,
Keep them happy.
keep them happy. Is just for crack-ups. But a few things happened during that period. One of my close friends was arrested. I've probably mentioned this on loads of podcasts before. One of my close friends was arrested for attempted murder, and he was convicted. And I felt that he was misrepresented, and he shouldn't have done 9 years in prison. I felt that he could have got a better result, and I still feel there's innocent. To be fair, he lost a good chunk of his life. You know how he feels. So that was one reason. And the other reason, I'll be honest with you, was financially motivated. When I went along with somebody to a solicitor's office in the north somewhere, and their family member had a case. I went along for mutual support, and the money that guy was demanding, I was like, my eyes lit up, and I was like, wow, do these guys make this much money? Then the family that I went with agreed straight away with this this solicitor,
There was
yes,
no shock to it.
we'll pay you. And I said, okay, that was quite easy. If that guy can do it, I can do it 10 times better than that guy, which I have now with the help of the Lord. So no disrespect to that guy, but I told him it's good on him. He knows how to take money out of people. He's providing a service. As long as he provides a good service, the people will pay him. And then I thought, can anybody do it? So I went around and checked, and I thought, no. A lot of people were struggling in the field at the time as well. They wasn't getting people walking to the door. So I thought to myself, why are these guys gone from Birmingham, drove 2 hours to go see this guy?
Yeah.
There must be something about him. Done some research, and yes, he had a few good results. But what he did was he had a network of people who were just going out there and saying, yes, this guy's a good lawyer, this guy's a good lawyer, this guy's a good lawyer. And that's how this family got hold of him. They didn't know about his past results, so they didn't know him. So that just stuck with me, and I thought to myself, I need to build a network. People who are going to advertise for me for free. How do I do that? When I represent someone, I need to do it to the best of my abilities. And if I get a good result, that guy will tell 10 people.
Of course.
And those 10 people will tell 10 other people. And it's just a circle.
I know in where I'm from, most of us all use the same lawyer
There you go.
because we just know he's certified, he's done a good job once or twice, and everyone goes to him.
Everyone goes to him.
And it is it's so powerful, word to mouth, isn't it?
Word of mouth is
And
a lot too powerful.
It's the same, to a lower level, of course, not probably more trivial, but reputation of your barber. You got to be careful who you choose to cut your hair, and people are
course.
funny about that, and people will travel far and wide to get the right guy and stick to. And
See, you know what? I'm the opposite of that, to be fair.
you'll
I
go
will
anywhere.
go to any barber. If I go past a barber shop,
I like that though.
if I
Shows
go
you're
past,
humble.
if I go past a barber shop and I see there's no one sitting on the chairs, my selling point is if there's no one there waiting to have a haircut, so I'll just jump on straight away. I don't like wasting time. So sometimes barbers, I'll be honest with you, I'll sit there and they'll start doing pull out the steamer and all that stuff. And I said, look, I got no time for this. 15, 20 minutes is all I have. That's why I've come here, because there's no one else here.
Yeah.
So quickly cut my hair. I need to get out of here.
But they're trying to make an impression on you.
They
to
try
come
to
back.
make an impression, but they don't know what I'm like, you see. So I tell them, I say, it's okay, brother, I will come here again, but I'm not going to come here next week. Next time if I drive past and there's no one here, I'll come in here again. But can't promise you that I'll come next week, but I'm just like that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm different from
Interesting.
other people in that sense. But you are right. People only go to people that they can trust, or somebody who's
We've
used
had a
them
good result. And
and got a good result. Yeah, I let my work speak for myself now. I do not need to introduce myself or tell people how good I am. They already know.
well, if I look from the outside, now you're on social media and stuff, could that affect you in a way? Could it make you look like a gimmick? Or have you seen change in your work rate? And of course, you've still got your standard, your solid network before social media.
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
who know your results.
Of course, I've got that already. Social media only started 2 years ago. I've been doing this for 10 years now. And I've been doing very well with the help of the Lord. He's blessed me immensely, more than I deserve. So social media has helped. It's free advertising. That's what I say.
100%.
And if you want to get yourself out there, you have to be confident and go in front of the camera and say what you like. And if people like you, you're winning.
I think,
Simple.
yeah, we're in this day and age now anyway, where you have to be on social media to feel like you're a part of something. So it's definitely probably working in your favor that you are on there. Yo, who's your solicitor? Because that's another thing, when you're in prison, and who's your solicitor? Yo, Greg Gooden's he's the best man, or McSorley Lewis, he's the guy. Trust me. Oh, that lawyer's shit. He didn't get me on that. That reputation is there, especially in prison. I can imagine on the outside now, who's your solicitor? Ahmed Yakoob. You know him off YouTube. I bet there is that.
It is
people,
that, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot of people just come now. Of course, I got a lot of fans as well, so they will just come, and if they are happy with, because some people act different on social media, and when they're in person, I've seen that happen. Some people on social media, they go on like the real deal. When you speak to them, they come and speak, they kind of have a 1 minute conversation with you. It's life, it's the life we're living in. It's a fake world. People like faking it.
100%.
So when people actually meet me, they know I am what the tin says I am, what I am on my social media. I'm the same person, which I think that's a selling point as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Once somebody meets me, they won't forget me.
So you became a lawyer. That was the selling point, was it? When you saw how much they handed over, you seen how far they travelled, you thought, this is a bit of me, was it?
I could do with a bit of this.
And how long did it take you to actually become a lawyer? What's the process?
3 years in university, 1 year legal practice course, and then after that you do a training contract for 2 years at a different firm, and then you're qualified.
Okay. And you are with Morris.
Andrews,
Yes, you've overtaken that
that's
from.
my firm. I took over that firm in October, 2nd of October 2016.
Yeah. Very interesting how you. I watched the
You
CEO
watched it, yeah.
podcast. Don't really want to dive into it because if people want to check that, I'll go and check out the full
Yeah.
thing there. But I think it's really, really good. Maybe you could touch on it just a bit maybe.
It was basically this building that I'm in now. Come and visit it sometimes
I
when
would
you
love
got
to.
time, yeah. I used to watch
Just
this.
not for crimes anywhere.
No, just normally have a coffee, isn't it? So I used to see this building when I was younger, when I was a trainee, and I had sort of a premonition that I want to be working here one day. Fast forward 5, 6 years, I own that place, and I've got one of the most successful practices, not only in Birmingham, but in the whole country. Now, before that, I was a trainee solicitor, and my boss, I actually challenged my boss because I never had a good relationship with him.
Okay.
I challenged him. He called me useless. He asked me what my plans were, and I told him my plan is to have, in a few years, the busiest firm in Birmingham. He laughed at me, and he mentioned a few names that were doing very well in the legal field at that time. The general public won't know them, but within the lawyers, they knew them. And I laughed back at him and I said, those people that you have mentioned, they won't be able to compete with me when I'm up and running. So I basically said big words before I left. And I thought, you know what? I have to do something now. I got to prove this man wrong. That was another drive that I had. So, you have to go through something to get somewhere in life. There has to be
There is always.
there's always, so everyone's got a story.
Yeah, and it's not always just one thing, is it? There's always a combination of things.
Combination. And that's exactly what happened to me. And then at the same time, you've got my family who were saying, you know what, this is not, forget about law, go get a job somewhere else and stuff like that. And I said, no, I had a lot of people to prove wrong.
What did family want you to be?
I used to be a bit of a mess about it. So they did not think that I'm going to make it, first of all, go to uni and just pass. I thought uni was so easy. Didn't study much, just, roll through it. University is designed basically to pass exams. You don't learn much, so I didn't go to much lectures. I actually went to the revision classes at the end of the
That's mad.
semester, and I passed.
That's mad.
So it's quite easy. 2-2 I got, which is the basic, isn't it? I think third is the lowest.
You said on that podcast that when you go to you study law in uni, you're not actually learning anything apart from just your standard English and kind of things that you would learn in school. You have to actually be in that building to
know,
or in the court or in the cells to really
it's
learn
totally
that stuff.
different. It's totally different.
I could go to college and talk about barbering all I want, but I don't know why I keep going back to barbering. But
I think that's what you want to do, isn't it?
No, but you've got to get the clippers out yourself and do it yourself.
You got to do it.
Yeah, it's fascinating, really is. And so before this podcast is a lot about adversity and turning your life around. So you get in a lot of trouble when you was younger?
I was arrested a few times. Silly, stupid reasons. I did start hanging around the wrong crowd. I mean, I come from an area in Birmingham called Aston. I'm sure you're aware of it. It's not difficult.
I've worked there.
You work there, exactly. So it's not difficult to get drawn into stuff like that. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I now go back sometimes to Aston, and my barber's there. So sometimes I go, and I see sometimes the same people that were outside the bookies they're still there from 10 years ago.
Is that the shops
Witten
Hayfield
Road.
Road? No, what's it called?
Witten Road.
Witten Road, is it?
Witten Road. The corner, William Hill Bookies. Or Ladbrokes, I think it is. But the same people are still doing, the moral of what I'm trying to say is the same people are still doing what they were doing 10 years ago and they're still doing it now.
They don't get a mile radius out of that area.
Yeah, they
It's
haven't
like
come
they're
out.
tied to a chain.
Yeah.
And you see like a horse tied on a tree.
Yes, I've seen that. It's a little meme, innit? I've seen it. And
It's a meme, is it? Yeah.
It's a meme. I've seen it. It's a horse not even tied to a tree, I think tied to a little branch. And if he walks away, he can go. But in his head, he thinks that there's a chain that he can't go nowhere.
And there's the sheep one as well. You know, when the herd of sheep,
Yes.
they all go through the gate and they take the gate is gone, but they still go through that gap.
They could go around
They
it.
can go around it.
They can go around it. So a lot of times, people are prisoners to their own thoughts. They think they can't get out of that life, but you clearly can. I've seen people do it. I've done it. A lot of people, you've done it. A lot of people think that it's done now.
Yeah.
But you can change your life at any time you want, man.
Yeah, we always think it's too late, and we all say it's quite a cliche word, but it's true. It's so true.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Was that another drive?
Yeah.
You know, being arrested, to now be able to go into a police station.
Of course.
Mr. Yakoob, can you come down your client here?
It's true. The people that I used to hang about with have turned out to be my clients. Unfortunate, but it's the way life works. I chose one path. They chose to stay on the same path.
Yeah.
You know? The Lord helps you if you want to help yourself. If you are not going to help yourself, the Lord won't help you too.
I want to touch on this before we go on to anything else, because you said, it's funny because you said the Lord in this podcast, but in every other podcast you always say Allah.
Allah. I said both. I said the both.
You're very, very religious man, yeah?
I'm a very religious
I
man.
see you pray quite a lot as well. I check, on your socials. You're
Every
always praying.
single day, I'm up before the sunlight and I have to pray, It's if I don't, I don't think I will be sane with what I see on a daily basis, and I don't think I'll be sane if I didn't pray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you always been a devout Muslim from a young age, or was you kind of someone
No,
at a young age who didn't even bother really practice it?
I think one thing that has kept me disciplined over the years, from a young age, I've just been praying. I've always had that connection with the Lord, with Allah. I've had that connection from when I was young. It's not like my dad told me to or my mom told me to, but of course they used to say, if you do this, God's not going to be happy. If you do that, God will be happy. So there's little seeds I think they did plant. And that's one of the main reasons that's kept me disciplined and focused, because I am actually scared of the Lord. I believe one day we are going to go to the Lord
Judged.
and we're going to be judged. And there ain't going to be no defense for that offense.
I like that one. Just want to jump in quickly, guys, and let you know that us here at the Central Club podcast, we work really, really hard to give you this content. People think setting up a podcast is just as simple as pressing play on a camera, but it's like a full-time job. And, when I first started this podcast, I promised myself that I wouldn't cut corners. That's all I've ever done in my life is cheat and, get a head start on things. But I always knew that I wanted to start from the ground up with this. And I've made sure that everything is to a high standard. But with that comes a lot of time and a lot of money. And all I ask for you is take out less than 1 second in your life to please press subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. What do you know about Wales' #1 rated security provider, Boss Security? Boss Security Limited are a professional security service provider based in South Wales but servicing clients on a national scale. With over 10 years of experience in the security industry, they are true experts in all aspects of security, from CCTV monitoring, manned guards, mobile patrols, and alarm response. They provide the most advanced technology on the market, along with an expert team of staff delivering complete security solution to their clients throughout the UK. Would you say with religion, again, the same with life? Is it ever too late to
No, of course not. Of course not. It's never too late. You can turn back to Allah. You can turn back to the Lord whenever you want. And if you've got that little doubt in your mind or your heart, just try doing it. Try praying. Bow down to the Lord. Show a bit of gratitude for being alive and being healthy, because there's people out there that are going through all sorts. They're going through all sorts. They wake up and their whole family's been bombed. They're left alone. There's people out there committing suicide. There's people out there that don't have food. So just show a bit of gratitude to the Lord, and the Lord will bless you differently.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Aston, so you've lived there. Yeah,
B6.
It's a crazy place, isn't it?
Crazy place, man. B6,
Yeah,
the postcode.
yeah. So you don't live there no more. Where do you know? And in like the Birmingham Hollywood Hills, is it?
Yeah.
It's nice where you are now, though. Yeah.
It's nicer.
Good.
It's nicer. I
Ah,
live in a
good.
little village just outside of Birmingham. Aldridge is called.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
Little village.
Oh, lovely.
It's beautiful.
But you've worked hard for that, though, man.
Quiet, man. It's nice. I like it.
Yeah. Well, with the work you do, like you said, it's chaotic, isn't it?
It's
It's
chaotic,
a chaotic
man.
job. Couple of questions I want to like kind of go through.
Let's go. Quick fire ones.
No, yeah. Oh, they could be.
No, I'm joking. Take your time.
I've got some quick fires.
No, I'm saying quick fire. Do you want me to answer quick fire or?
It depends.
Whatever.
It depends. If you want to scurry over them, that's cool. But we spoke about the police. You give us your opinion on the police. You think they should be there. It's daft to think that we shouldn't have police. I think as well. It'd be like Demolition Man, that film.
Oh no, man.
Mad.
We're going mad. It's like not having no lawyers. Everybody
Yeah.
be in prison.
Exactly. But do you rely on that though, as a lawyer? Same as the drug system, same as the probation, same as the prison. Without these people, you wouldn't have a job. So,
It's true.
being a good devout Muslim and being a good person, would you like to see people?
Of course,
Oh.
I always encourage people not to do crime. I actually made a video that caused a bit of controversy. I don't know if you've seen it. When I said all drug dealers, I said most drug dealers are broke.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's
It's true.
It's the truth.
That's like not even a lie.
And a lot of people are saying Hakim is talking like this. I'm trying to discourage people from going into that life, because why do people start doing crime? It's because of money. The main reason is
Image, money.
money, image. And if you're not going to make no money, if you're going to get arrested in the end, what's the point of doing all of that? Just get a proper job, man. You got a lot of resources.
100%.
So I discourage people to do that. I've been doing it for a while. And then people say, how come you don't tell your clients not to do it? I'm not going to come onto my social media or start telling people what conversations I have with my clients. I probably am telling them not to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't want to be no preacher as well, because if I was a preacher, they won't come to me, will they?
No, exactly. You are holding a business up.
Yeah.
And at the,
But I'll keep it real. I'm not going to change the way I am for anyone. So if I feel I have to tell someone something and that will benefit them, my words will benefit them, I will tell them that.
yeah, you probably get certain clients you favoritize or you get close to, and
Exactly.
like my solicitor, like he's buzzing the fact that I've turned my life around, because for
There you go.
years he's like, "What are you doing?
There
You're
you
back
go.
in again."
That's
Fucking,
good, man.
do you know what I mean?
That's like, he's a good man.
Yeah,
He's a good man.
and that's probably because he knows, and there will always be someone else coming through the door,
Of
because
course,
the way
man.
of the world it is good and bad.
Don't ever try to use other people's misfortunes to your benefit, because God's watching. God's watching, man.
Yeah, I like that. Have you ever faced racism by
Yeah, of course.
by police?
By police, by the courts, as a trainee solicitor. When I was up and coming, I used to, not directly, but indirectly.
Oh, it's probably worse sometimes.
It's worse when if I'll give you a little example.
Yeah.
In a courtroom, I'm saying something, and the magistrate or the judge at the time was like, excuse me. I had to say it very loudly, and I said, you know exactly what I am saying, so don't act like you never heard me. And then they got the point.
It's muggy as fuck, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? So I'm very aware of my surroundings, and I think everyone should be. So if you're moving funny, I know you're moving
Yeah, of
funny.
course.
I probably won't say nothing, but I'm going to keep your distance.
And I won't be
I'm
coming
going to keep
back.
my
Yeah.
distance. Exactly. I'm going to keep my distance. It's one of them ones. When I can sense funniness, I can sense craftiness, I can sense negativity. That's why you will not see a negative person around me. Optimists, no pessimists around me.
Yeah. Um, a big thing I used to look at with solicitors when I'd be locked up, or if I'm in an interview room and I'm waiting, and I'd see another solicitor walk past. A lot of pally with police. You know, there is that relationship, obviously, because some of these are constantly in the police station.
Of course, if you see somebody, a few times, you are bound to say hello to them.
Yeah.
You will talk to them.
Of course.
And like I said, they're not our enemies. The police do a job. Their job is to investigate a crime. Then they hand the case over to the prosecution. The prosecution are the ones who prosecute. And then you have the defense lawyers. Our job is to defend.
Have you ever had a Fed try and get you to turn on any of your clients?
No. But I've had police officers visiting my clients, trying to have them turn on other people.
Okay. Yeah, I see. And would you condone that?
I tell them not to. I'll say, look, it depends. If a client asks me, I'll say, look, do you really, okay, you want to help the police, what they're going to do, they're going to reduce your sentence. But you're going to probably fall out with the people you grew up with, man. It's
Yeah.
not worth it, is it? And your life could be in danger too. So,
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Do you have a certain clientele? What's your clientele like? Are they a certain ethnicity, diverse, before social media, let's say? Or if it's just been very broad and,
yeah, very broad, everyone. I represent Albanians, Romanians, Africans, Pakistanis, whites, anyone.
the judges
I don't
hate
discriminate. I don't
you? You
discriminate.
don't discriminate, no.
Don't discriminate.
Do you get like certain judges who hate you and are like,
No.
is it like, yes, fucking Ahmed? Or because that's what it's like, innit? When they say like, oh shit, we got
See,
this is with the judge. Oh, we got Judge Hopkins today. He's bad, man. He's Is it the same with solicitors?
they know that we will put up a fight. They know that. Judges know that. When they see me, they know that, there will be a fight put up regardless of what happens. I think judges like me.
Yeah.
I think they like me. But of course, you can't please everyone. Not everybody's going to like you. Not all judges will like me. I could tell when I walk into a courtroom. I could tell by the look, like I said, I'm aware of my surroundings. Like, you don't like me. Yeah, he likes me. Yeah, she likes me. It's one of them ones. And that's the world, really.
Yeah, of course.
Not everybody will like you.
I want to touch on legal aid.
Yeah.
When I was in and out of prison for petty shit, it was always legal aid.
Yeah.
For the people, it's probably obvious, but for people who might not know the difference and how do you make your money? Like, what do you make your money mainly on legal aid, or is it like the personal clients who pay big money?
No, predominantly it is legal aid because most of my clients are drug dealers. They can't afford to. Well, again, they can't afford. They're not broke. Like they are broken. They can't afford to pay me what the legal aid would pay me, if you get what I mean. And plus, even if they manage to get money from somewhere, we have to do extensive money laundering checks to get that money off them. So,
Really? So it's not even like a dealer's got a bit of cash put away.
you
Listen,
can't.
I'll pay you. I got the money. It's not
Exactly,
that.
but that's what a lot of people say to me. I'll pay you. I got the money. And I'll say, how you gonna pay me? I'm gonna come. No, you can't.
Why and why can't they? Is that like? I know we might say it's
We're
the
governed
law,
by the SRA.
but so checks go through you. You can easily just take the
no,
money.
we can't. We have to do extensive money laundering checks where they got the money
Okay.
from. They can get one of their family members. Of course, that's happened in the past. Some family member will come across with funds and they will pay, and we do checks on them. If you get what I mean. So, predominant my work is legal aid based. That's why I say to people that most big cases I do deal with myself. A big multi-handed conspiracy case will make you decent amount of money. And
Because there's loads of them involved, is it?
if there's loads of them involved, yeah.
And they're all going to you.
Yeah, they're all going to us. It's about volume too. And it's about volume comes with how good you are. If you get good results, more people will come to you. And that's been my business model from the outset. And I've been making good money.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes people say, how do you represent guilty people? Or how do you do this? What if a client tells you you're guilty? Do you ask your client if he's guilty or not? No solicitor is going to ask his client them direct words, are you guilty? Cullen, Mace, are you guilty? They're not going to ask you that. What they will do is they'll go through the evidence, they'll go through the prosecution case, and then they will break it down and explain to the client what the strengths and the weaknesses are. Then they will tell you the elements or the strands of evidence that the prosecution have and what they require to get a conviction on your case. That's what we do. That's what I do anyway. And of course, I think most people, most lawyers will probably do the exactly same thing because it won't work otherwise. If you say to someone, are you guilty? And they say, yes, I'm guilty. Okay, plead guilty, end of story. There will be no trials.
Yeah, but yeah. So when someone's going to trial, he's pleading not guilty. How do you defend that person, even if you know he's banged to rights?
Even if I know he's banged to rights, it's not for me to form that opinion. It's not for me to make that judgment or make that conclusion. I will say to him, I will explain the evidence to my client. And sometimes I do say to clients that, look, I think you will be found guilty.
Banged to rights.
You will be found guilty. And there have been circumstances that I've said to a client that I think you should plead guilty based on the evidence. I think you are going to be convicted. They're going to find you guilty in a matter of minutes. They've said, no, I'm going to have a trial. They've gone and had a trial and got found not guilty.
Mad.
This specific client I'm talking about right now, he had a trial, got found not guilty, came to me after the trial, Birmingham Crown Court, and said, Mr. Yakoob, I don't know how you did this, but I've got found not guilty. I was like, I don't know how it happened as well.
Praising you like.
Praising me. And then he's turned around. Guess this is an amazing story. He's turned around and said, I want to study law. I want to be a lawyer. He is now 6 months away from qualifying as a solicitor. He said to me, if I go to university and study, will you give me a job? I did not believe him at the time. He came back a few years later with a degree. I had to sort him a job and everything. 6 months, he's going to be a qualified solicitor. Section 18 wounding, he was looking at 7 to 8 years in prison.
Unbelievable. But you hear that, don't you? You hear those cases. I'm going to bust case. I'm going to bust case, and it happens. Do you ever have it though, where like you're in the courts, you know he's lying, you know your client's lying, and you're just like shrugging your shoulders at the jury, like fucking this guy, like.
Sometimes I had a client recently. He had told us something different. It's a murder case. He told us something totally different. That this is his instructions. So this is how he's going to be examined in chief, and then of course the prosecution will cross-examine him. He's told us, but in the dock, whilst giving evidence, whilst being whilst being examined in chief, he's turned around and said, "Yes, I did stab the guy." That took me by surprise, took the King's Counsel by surprise. We were all just looking at each other. But in front of the jury, we couldn't act shocked, you see.
No, of course.
We couldn't act shocked. The jury convicted him, obviously, because in essence, he admitted the murder. But he was saying it happened because of, force from the other guy and whatnot. But he actually admitted stabbing the guy. He never admitted it to us. He only admitted it in the dock at court.
So if someone does that and they admit it in the dock, does that get adjourned again for you to build a case of the self-defense method or the manslaughter?
No.
Or is it, that's the final thing, bro? We're in court. It's being
done. It's done. Because by the
time... Why
time...
wouldn't you build a case? Why wouldn't you come to you and say, listen, I did do it. What do I do? How,
yeah.
Before going...
So exactly, it changed the whole...
People are mad, innit?
Yeah, it changed the whole... dynamics of the case for us. Got found not guilty, poor lad. 10-2 majority as well. So we only needed one more person from the jury.
Got found not guilty.
Sorry, got found guilty, 10-2 majority. Yeah. But there's 10 people who said he's guilty. 10 people said he's not guilty. Sorry, 2 people said not guilty. 10 people said guilty. So if he had stuck to what he already told us, his original instructions, I feel he would have been a free man.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him. Sometimes there's pressure from co-defendants as well during a trial.
When you're in prison and you're on remand,
Yeah.
anything happens.
Anything exactly. So my caseworker, his caseworker who works for me, one of my he said I think there was pressure because he kept talking about his co-defendants during the proceedings as well, like when we used to go to see him in
Yeah,
prison.
yeah.
So he said I think he said that he admitted stabbing the guy because they put pressure on him.
Well, I bet you,
I don't know.
I bet you. I bet no, but I bet you've come across that where you probably have legal visits with your clients, and they both go over to the legal visit room and they're kicking off and they're fighting because it's the first time they've seen each other since the
Yeah,
case.
they fall out with each other.
Yeah, but I know people who literally they don't speak to this day because of it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, it's
Yeah,
do the crime, do the time.
exactly.
No, but it is mad. Do you think though that I have to say it? Do you think that there is a sense of with what you do on social media that you could be promoting, like glamorizing this life?
No, of course not. And I'm very outspoken about this. I've actually been reported to the authorities for that very reason, for inciting criminal behavior.
With what you do though on social media, do you sometimes think that that may be in some sort of sense promoting, glamorizing what you do?
What, glamorizing criminal behavior?
Glamorizing criminal behavior and that you will be there to save the day sort of thing.
No. A lot of people have that misconception, and I've been reported to the authorities for that very reason. And I've, of course, made representations and responded, and no further action has been taken against me because I don't do anything like that. I simply give real life scenarios, real case scenarios. I'm not advising anybody individually to do anything wrong. I've just said, this is a case that I've dealt with, and this is the defense that we've put forward, and this is the result. So I'm not glamorizing anything. I'm actually very anti-crime, and I've made videos in the past actually talking about drug dealers and most criminals being broke, because that's exactly what they are. They don't have much money. All they live for is a bit of a lifestyle. And how long are you going to maintain that lifestyle? Sooner or later, you are going to get old.
Of course.
Are you still going to be doing the same things that you were doing when you were 30, 25? No, you're not. You're going to go old. So that lifestyle is going to expire one day anyway. So you're just doing it for that lifestyle. So I don't glamorize crime. I actually glamorize hard work. I say to people, if you want nice things in life, if you want a good life, if you want to live comfortably forever, you need to be uncomfortable for a few years and work hard. Without hard work, nothing will come, and there is no substitute for it. I glamorize that. I glamorize hard work. That's what I glamorize. I don't glamorize crime.
I think again, it's like you was just saying, it struck a chord with me. People only will remember you for those videos. You said you've done loads of videos talking about I'm against crime. People don't want to listen to that.
Yeah.
People always remember the bad. It's never the good.
It's never the good, yeah, exactly.
You know, it is a mad one. You said something on the CEO podcast when he spoke about have you ever been arrested?
Yeah.
There was a case, maybe something pending with you which you couldn't talk about.
Still can't talk about it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's still in the process, is it?
Yeah.
It was nothing to do with that what you just said there, is it?
No.
No?
Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
Will it come out soon or?
Might do.
Yeah. Okay.
I would rather it not come out and it be brushed under the carpet and they live their life and I live my life.
Is that because it could tarnish you in any sort of way?
No, not tarnish me. It's going to tarnish them.
Okay.
And I rather not keep.
And the look you just pulled then.
I rather not
Okay.
them be tarnished because I live in the UK and I respect the justice system.
Okay.
I don't want the general public to go against justice and law and police.
But it is a lot already, isn't it? Come on.
But if something would happen to me,
Yeah. No, I get that.
it would be different.
Tony Kent.
Yeah.
Some controversial remarks being made.
See, I did not know this man till somebody sent me this clip. So this guy's talking behind my back without knowing me, without having ever met me. He's made a judgment about me, which I think is a shame, really. Nobody should do that. He's made remarks on Twitter also previously, and now on this podcast, he said, I could get into trouble because I'm promising people the world. And if I don't deliver, I could get into trouble. First of all, I don't promise people anything. A lot of clients do come to me and they say, can you give us a guarantee if we're going to win our case? The only guarantee we have in life is death. That's the only thing that we can guarantee. Nothing else is guaranteed. Yeah, that's what I say to my clients. But I do guarantee this. I say I can guarantee you that me and my team will leave no stones unturned in the preparation of your case. But the result is not in our control. We can't control the result. The jury or a judge, ultimately the Lord controls what happens. So for this guy to be talking behind my back, it means that he is behind me. The loudest boos always come from the people right at the back of the stadium. The people at ringside have got no time to boo because they are enjoying life. They are watching what's ahead of him. So this guy needs to, think about his own life rather than speaking about me. If you can't be a fan, don't be a hater.
Is that the message you give to Tony?
Yeah.
If you can't be a fan,
Don't be a hater.
Okay.
Just be quiet. The message is this. If you haven't got anything good to say, don't say it.
nice.
I've not said anything bad about him. I don't know why he's talking about me.
And
Why am I relevant in his life for? Why? He's not relevant in mine.
maybe he wanted to do what you do.
Probably, I don't know. I have made a lot of noise in the legal profession though.
Good.
And to get
You're a
noticed,
disruptor.
yes, you have to cause disruption in order to be noticed.
You just said about what he just said about how you're guaranteeing people with this every defense is there's
Defense,
enough
yeah, he mentioned that. As well.
But a defense ain't just because you have a defense, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed. When
Exactly.
you have defenders in football, they still letting goals. Like, we're not guaranteeing anything.
We're not guaranteeing.
We're just trying to defend, and there is a defense for every case. There is a defense for every offence, quite possibly.
Possibly, yes, there is. Although,
Murder, no.
no, there is. Technically, there is. I'll tell you how. There are some offences that are strict liability offences. For example, a possession of a firearm. There is no defence in law. But technically, if you go to court and say not guilty, you are going to be putting forward some sort of explanation.
So there is.
So there is a defence.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
What's
your success rate?
See, I don't make people have trials just for the sake of it. As I said previously, if I feel that you will be convicted, there's a high chance, high likelihood, because of the strength of the case, I will advise you to plead guilty and we can put forward a basis of plea. A basis of plea is something we can put forward when a client is admitting the offence. He says, yes, I am guilty of this offence, but not everything the prosecution is saying. So in that case, we put a basis of plea forward to put the client, categorize him in a certain category and roll. So I don't calculate it, but I do have a high success rate. Most of my trials, who actually go ahead and have full trials, I do win them.
Yeah. So it's like you meticulously choose these ones. Is that because you want to have a high success rate? Because we do know some solicitors, it's about ego and reputation as well.
Reputation is a big thing. And you have to, that's one thing that you have to guard it with your life, because once it's gone, it's gone. It's very difficult to build a reputation, but it's very easy to lose it. The reputation is something, but I will not make someone have a trial when I feel, as a legal professional, they've come to me for advice. I'm not just going to make them have a trial just for the sake of it, to fill my pockets. No, I don't work like that. If I feel you're going to be convicted, I will be straight up honest with you, because in most times we are dealing with grown men.
100%.
So you have to be realistic.
I agree.
And in most cases, they are the author of their own misfortunes. Nobody's made them do that. They've done it themselves.
Yeah.
So me sugarcoating you and saying you will be okay, it's only going to damage them further.
Damage them, yeah. giving up hopes, and you should always expect the worst in them cases. You know, every time.
Hope for the best, but always prepare for the worst.
100%, brother. What I want to talk about is a bit about certain cases and stuff. Like, for example, is there anyone you have like refused to defend? Is
Yes.
there a demographic you refuse to defend?
Yes. I've refused to represent members of the English Defence League when there was clear racism against Pakistani Muslim people, and
You actually had people from the industry.
yeah,
Really?
to come and represent me. Because don't forget, my company is a very well-known company. Not even if people don't know me, they will know my company, Morris Andrew Solicitors. And people have been approached within my firm to take on certain cases, and my staff have come to me and said, "No, I'm not doing that." And there's a few cases that, of course, I'm not comfortable with dealing with. Child sex cases, I'm not comfortable with dealing with them. Just because, regardless, I'm not making no judgments about anybody, whether they're guilty or not guilty. I just don't want to look at that. You know, my morals don't allow me to look at that.
So even if
Because I have to look through images and stuff, you know, to defend that person.
Yeah, of course, and yeah, you're probably desensitized to a lot of things because of the cases you go through and the evidence brought forward. But what if you think this guy is like you might know, or what if that guy is innocent and he is just because we get it in men, you know, people get accused of rape and all.
No, I've
What happens
represented
if this
people.
guy, like, you know.
No,
oh,
I've
innocent?
represented people on rape before, and they've said to me it was consensual sex, and they've been found not guilty. I'm actually representing someone for a sexual case, and I feel right now that he's innocent. He's from somewhere around here, to be fair, and he's told me the whole scenario from start to finish, and I feel that he's innocent. I'm going to represent him. There are people who get falsely accused of rape, but grooming a child and rape are two different things, aren't they? Raping a grown woman or raping a child is two different scenarios.
I think they're still both bad, but
They're still both very bad, very, very, very.
but of course, I know what you. I know.
You know what I mean? I've
the
got kids
difference.
myself. I just don't want to look at all them.
Yeah, of
I
course.
just don't want to look at it.
Yeah, to look at photos and that's
I
disgusting.
don't
yeah.
want to do it. I don't want to do it.
This is interesting because it's like it's tied into the both now. Then you refuse to do English Defence League guys who have targeted Pakistani men. We've interviewed Tommy Robinson before.
Oh, you have? Yeah.
Yeah. So you were against grooming there. What do you say about the accusation that
He
people
makes.
like he makes about Pakistani men who are grooming women?
Exactly. You can't paint everybody with the same brush. Statistically, if you look at the statistics, they will say something totally different. It's just the media are widespreading and focusing on Pakistani Muslim men. Unfortunately, they will not tell you about a ring of white men, unfortunately, that have been caught. You don't see that in the media, but if you look at the statistics, it's not only Pakistani Muslim men, and the majority of men who do get convicted, if I'm wrong, I don't want to quote something I'm wrong on, but if you check the statistics, there will be white middle-aged men.
Does it bring up a certain emotion to you when you hear that? Like when
Of course, because I don't want to be associated with that. To be fair, I mean, I don't forget where I come from. I know, and I take pride.
I don't. Yeah, but I don't. You know, if you know, you got a white paedophile and there's many weird fucking creeps in the world. I don't get embarrassed of that person thinking I'm the same. I get maybe it's different when you've.
We're from
you
a
know,
minority.
A minority in
Yeah.
a country is different.
We're
maybe,
minority
isn't it?
in the
Yeah.
country. It's,
Maybe
it's
you're
different-
right there.
It's different for us. There was a girl. Her name's Eleanor Williams. She falsely accused three different people of grooming her. One of the guy had Paki rapists written on the front of his home. Now he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life. She got found out to be lying in the end, and she got an 8-year prison sentence.
Good.
It's good. She deserved
Fucking
it.
well deserved it,
She
mate.
deserved it, but she's destroyed that man's life. The three men's life. You know, two of them spent time on remand as well. So they're never going to get that 6 months back of their life. So exactly, you can't
That's
paint.
disgusting. Yeah.
You can't paint everyone
So-
with the same brush, my brother Tommy.
No, you're right. You are right. You are right. maybe fly over this subject, but just quickly, do you agree with some of the people he brought to justice then? Or because you're saying don't paint them all with the same brush. So,
So
are you saying there are some who are doing
some of them might be, but who has he actually brought to justice though?
no one?
No one. No one.
He's not. He's not.
All he's done is record people, make allegations. Some of the people that he's recorded and made allegations against, for example, some people in Telford, they've already been arrested and no further action has been taken against them.
Okay.
So if these people, I'm just saying it, just for argument's sake, they were no further action, but they did do it. Just say, you're now making those victims go through the whole ordeal again. So they're reliving that because of you, because of your own agenda. He's not doing it because he feels sorry for those women. I can tell you that now. For those little girls, he's not doing it for that reason. He's doing it for his own agenda. Everybody knows.
What's the case that sticks in your head the most, and why?
Why my best ever case was a conspiracy to possess a firearm. It started off with a conspiracy to murder, then it lessened down to a conspiracy to possess a firearm with intent to endanger life. There was 9 people in that case. Only one person got found not guilty, and that was my client. And that was because of my hard work. 2018, and let me just briefly tell you what the hard work was. Just before, just say the trial starts now on a Monday. I've been asking the prosecution and the police for the download of my client's mobile phone for the past 6 months. They've not given me. They're always delaying. You had to go to court. The judge had to go at them. In the end, they gave it to me on a Thursday. Thousands of pages on there. They probably thought I'm going to just put it in the file and forget about it. I went through that. I called my client. I went home at 1, 2 a.m. that night. The next day, I was back in the morning. I kept going through it. Over the weekend, we managed to secure and find something that eventually proved the difference between him receiving 15 to 20 years prison and him walking out free. We found that difference in that phone. That was basically that he had a football game planned at the time of this, where this alleged murder, conspiracy to murder, was meant to be happening. He had a football game planned. The pitch was waterlogged. His coach texted in the group, the pitch is waterlogged, so no football today. So he happened to go along with this guy by chance and not choice.
Yeah.
And he only found that out by reliving that because of his mobile phone.
Reliving it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew Tate. Just your opinions on it, really. Do you think he's gonna go to jail?
I think he shouldn't go to jail because, as far as I know, there's no evidence to suggest that he's taken part in any illegal activities. I think, again, it's an agenda that they have against him. Now, he's been on house arrest for the last 2 months now, I think. Before that, they were on remand with no evidence. This can't happen in the UK, by the way. If he was here in the United Kingdom, they can't keep somebody with that evidence for more than 24 hours. They would probably release him from the police station because these are just allegations. And victims have actually come forward and said that he's done nothing wrong. So, and a lot of people, I was talking to an ex-police officer yesterday, and he said that people are looking up to misogynist people like Andrew Tate. I had to stop him. I said, that's your opinion. That's your opinion that he's a misogynist.
He's not a misogynist.
Of course,
it's old-fashioned.
It's old. You know what he does? I tell you what people are doing. Just taking out clips from his interviews that sound a bit bad, and they're using that against him. All he promotes is hard work. I just said that, actually. I said that not long ago. He says, if you want to drive nice cars, work hard. There's nothing wrong in what he's saying. I actually like the guy for his work rate. It's come from nothing and he's made it.
Yeah.
I adore the guy. I like him.
The BBC interview the other day was a bit of a car crash, weren't it? She was very, very rude.
No, but why did she, first of all, look, he held his own in that interview anyway, and he's a strong character anyway. I don't think somebody can come and interview him and get the better of him anyway.
Yeah.
So he is a strong character, so he knows what. I think he was expecting that anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
But they were being very biased. The BBC are biased, to be fair, so I can't really say much.
EncroChat, just a couple of fire funds. But what do you think of the EncroChat situation? People are still remanded on this.
They're still remanded, and people were jumping on the bandwagon that this is a live interception and it's not allowed. Now, a tribunal, which is specifically being held for that very reason, has come back and said, no, it's not live interception. The National Crime Agency are within the law. They've done nothing unlawful, and people cannot use that defense anymore. But they can't use it now. So people were waiting for something to happen with that, and they thought it's all going to go away. The government spent millions and millions of pounds. Did they really expect it to go away like that? No, it's not. The government have done the full homework before they intercepted this. So yes, it's going in. So no longer can you say that it was illegal what the National Crime
Yeah,
Agency
well,
have
I've
done.
seen certain people who talk about it, like the Angro chat, it was unlawful. They're gonna bust case. It's wrong what they've done.
No. Basically, I was off that view at the start, but when I looked deep into it, and there's been applications made. We've appealed decisions. No, the courts are not having it now. The tribunal, independent tribunal, has come forward, and they're not having it.
So,
They're saying it was lawful. So
so are you saying all those people who were caught on that Angro chat are banged to rights then? And
not necessarily. No, there are other defenses. I'm just saying they can't use that defense. There are defenses. I've represented successfully people, and what defense he put forward was of multiple users. He said I wasn't using it at the time. I may have used that device previously. That's why it was connecting at some point into my home Wi-Fi. But I am not the sole user. There are multiple users, and I'm not involved in that actual conspiracy that you're talking about. Got found not guilty.
but there's a lot on there who are going to be
Of course,
tucked away
of
from
course, because people thought that this was some unbreakable network, and people are never going to get into it. So, stupidly, what they've done is taken selfies, and that's on there. They've taken pictures of, I know people who got caught because of their wallpaper in their front room because they've taken a picture, and they don't, you're inside your house
But
now
how did they? Yeah, but the thing that worries me is how did the police know that's your wallpaper?
because they've come and arrested you. Then
Okay.
they've come and then arrested you.
It's
And,
after. So they've
Yeah.
gone on a whim,
yeah, exactly.
hoping it is the same wallpaper.
See, that's what I'm saying. So people were so confident that nobody's going to touch them, that nobody's going to read these messages. Even for normal phones, I say this: don't ever send a text message that you don't expect someone else. I'm not talking about the recipient, some other person, some third party to read it. Don't ever make a phone call and expect it not to be heard by other people rather than the recipient. I always say this, and I'm a big advocate. It's not about doing crime or being a criminal. It's about privacy. I talk very minimal on the phone. Even my clients, when they start talking on the phone, I say, look, you better have book an appointment, come to the office, see me face to face, or let's have a video conference. Something like that. I don't talk on the phone much, and I don't send a text message that I don't expect someone else to read.
Just to finish up on this Angro chat, then a lot of people I know have been remanded for years because of it.
Yeah.
Time off now, is it? Then they'll have time off. Some of these will probably be coming out. Just time served then.
It could be time saved depending on the sentence they get. But it's not their fault. First of all, of course, the courts were waiting for decisions regarding the legality of the Encro chat. So that was, for the defendants, for the clients' advantages. Because if it was illegal, they would come out. So first of all, that was a delay. Then, of course, COVID was the delay as well. Then barristers started striking over the legal aid pays, and that was a delay as well. So there's been recently a lot of delays in the justice system, and hopefully we're back to scratch now. I think over 60 or 70,000 cases are in the backlog now in the UK, which is a big number.
Yeah.
Big number, which means prisons are now full. Which means
So do you think some of these might get time served on
served
leniency as well?
and
Just
leniencies,
to get
and also timely justice. The English justice system, UK justice system, always advertise and advocate speedy justice. And of course, people have been in remand for 3-4 years, so they're going to
long.
take that into account as well.
Interesting. Listen, it's all fascinating, mate. What else have you got in the pipeline then, Ahmed? Is it just focusing on your work?
Focusing on my work, be internationally
Is
recognized
that what you'd like? Yeah.
as a man of justice, as a man of law, as a man to turn to in times of difficulties. and just carry on growing and leave the UK in a few years and just retire.
Yeah, is that your end goal? Get out of there.
Get out of the rat race.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. I'm only starting.
Get
I'm
out of the
playing
matrix.
catch-up.
Get out of the matrix.
Yeah.
Like Andrew Tate says.
What we do with all our guests, we like to if they could give us like a nice message to the people, a valuable lesson, or a little monologue, maybe in classic Ahmed Yakoob style. You can give us a nice little message to the people.
My message would be nice to everyone you meet, especially people who you meet on the way up, because you could end up meeting those people on the way down, and those people are not going to help you. And it's not even about help or doing something for your own benefit. Help people because it will please the Lord. It will please your Creator. Do it for that reason. Even if you're not religious, if you do something good, you're spreading positive vibes. Stay away from negative people. The people who are telling you you can't do certain things. The main reason for people to say you can't do a certain task is because they can't do it. They are small-minded people and they can't think out of the box. They are not dreamers. So don't even tell small-minded people your dreams. I get uncomfortable telling small-minded people my dreams because all they're going to say is, no, that's not going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. That's all they are good for. They sit in a room and they think about why things are not going to happen. You need to switch sides and start thinking about what's going to go right and how things are going to happen. And always remember, there's a defense for every offense.
There's one more question I got to ask you. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
Do you drive a Lamborghini because you got a little dick?
No, I got a big one.
Hey, listen, Ahmed, honestly, it's been a real fucking pleasure meeting you, my brother.
You're the top man, you know.
I hope you've enjoyed it, man,
God bless
honestly.
you. I did enjoy it, of course I did.
And listen, I would really like to come and see you come and see your place one day.
Anytime,
And,
man. You need to come.
Anytime you're down Cardiff, give me a shout, man. We'll go for a coffee and we'll.
You're my
we'll
plug
have
in
a chat.
Cardiff now.
100%.
You're my plug.
I'm the link, bro.
Yeah. I sent you my phone number as well. I found you off it.
Yeah, I got it.
Earlier.
I got it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Really refreshing, breath of fresh air. You are, mate. Honestly, I'm not just saying this, and I don't say this, but this is one of my favorite podcasts. It's been really, really good. So,
but no negativity in it, bro.
No negativity. 100%.
No negativity.
People, if you want to go and follow Ahmed, go and plug your socials, brother.
Akhmed Yakoob on Instagram. Akhmed Yakoob on TikTok. Akhmed Yakoob on YouTube.
And for solicitor wise, if they want to get in touch,
Maurice Andrews Solicitor is the best in the game.
There we go, people. Listen, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I am going to say stay central, but I'm also going to say there's a defense for every offense.
The Central Club.